Hey everyone, my name is Carlo and welcome to the live stream. I do apologize about the wait. There were some technical difficulties going on. Not sure if it fixed it, but might as well start the stream. Okay, so let's get started. Um, so of course we are designing a website using HTML and CSS. I'm not sure if we will go over JavaScript later on, but we can just go over um, how to make a basic website. All right. So first of all, of course, in index. Oh, actually, one more thing. Um, there is a live chat, and I am looking at it. So if you guys have any questions on the way, I'd be happy to answer them. Well, if I can, but yeah. All right. So, anyways, um, first, we're going to go ahead and open a regular Notepad. Usually, we use code.org for app lab designs, and they do have a website designing tool, or it's sort of like app lab also, but unfortunately, we it doesn't really have that much functionality with it. Uh, I would like to go over embedding videos and what was it? Yeah, embedding videos using JavaScript and a lot more, but it, but in this case, we'll just be using Notepad. And I understand that there are more softwares to use, like Notepad plus plus, I believe. Um, but we will just be going over like the regular program that mostly everyone has already. Okay, so as soon you open your own, well, regular untitled document notepad, you're going to go ahead and go to File and then Save As. Go to, I would save on your desktop, but if there's a certain folder that you have, go ahead and go there. And then go ahead and do, um, or usually on your first HTML website, you want to name it like index. And then you'll just do .html. And then you can go ahead and save it. I already have one, but I'll go ahead and replace it. Um, okay. So now we are going to go ahead and type in the um, or like the first line of code. So we're going to go ahead and do like a, I'm not sure what you call this, but it's like the starting arrow. And then you're going to do explanation point and make sure you make this all caps. Well, for this first type of code, the line. You're going to go ahead and do doc type, DOCTYPE, and then you're going to go ahead and you're going to go ahead on the HTML part, lowercase. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and type in HTML now. Now, now we can go ahead and do head. And make sure you're putting the closed and or the opening and closed arrows. Okay, so now let's go ahead and make a title. Now, the reason why we want a title in our websites is because, here it um, is because usually when, let's say you open google.com, right, it would pop up with like the regular like Google um, on like the tab. You're basically making like a title for the tab instead of it saying index.html. So we can go ahead and put, um, let's see, the KTech website. And we can go ahead and do slash title. Okay, so we can go ahead and let's try. We're not actually gonna view it yet. We're gonna go ahead and do a slash head, which is closing uh, the um, the head section of it, and we're gonna go ahead and put body. So I'm gonna go ahead and put a little or put some more spaces and do forward slash body just to indicate that we are closing that tag, and then we're gonna go ahead and do forward slash HTML. Okay. All right, so I'm just looking at the live stream right now, or the preview, and I'm guessing that's hard to see. So I'm going to make it a little bigger. Not sure if that should make it a little easier to read. Um, well, okay, that should be fine. And actually, okay, all right. So we can go ahead and now add information and body. So we're gonna do H1, or well, what H1 does is basically like a header. Now now there you can go all the way, I believe it's up to 6. So you can do H1, H2, H3, H4, H5, H6, and that changes the size of it. Now we will not be using H1 or whatever, they're the header, um, that commonly. Reason being is that you can actually change that in the style sheet, otherwise known as CSS. And we'll be going over that later on. Right now, we're going to make the format of the website first. But let's go ahead and add, let's make it like H2. And then we'll go ahead and do my first website. And make sure you close it, so you do slash H2. Okay. Okay, so next we are going to go ahead and do actually, let's actually see the website right now. You can go ahead and do Control S, or you can just go File and Save. Don't close the index though first. And then we'll go here, and then we can go ahead and click refresh. All right, so we have the my first website. Um, all right, so now, okay, so now we will be going ahead and doing, let's see, I'm trying to figure out what we're going to be doing. Actually, we can go over organization of a website, or how to organize it. All right, so usually when you're organizing a website, we would be going over it, or basically like in JavaScript. Usually we use comments to organize it. For HTML, it's a little different. We're gonna go ahead and go on to, let's say, the title, and we're gonna do, let's say, 3 spaces, and that is basically our organization. There you can do comments in an HTML website, but we won't really be going over that yet. We will be we will be going over, let's say, or we'll just be going over the spaces basically. But with spaces, it's basically one way to organize your website format. All right, so with H2, we can go ahead and make another 3 spaces. and we can actually do some more. All right. So of course you're gonna do P, which means paragraph, of course. And usually this is what you're gonna be using when you're adding text to a website. Now you can always put more headers. That is always fine. But with the P element, we can actually um, it's actually more commonly used for when when you're using style sheets. All right, so let's go ahead and this will just be like a description. So we'll do um, this is my first. Okay, so we can go ahead and let's go to the here and let's go ahead and refresh it, and then you'll notice here that it says this is my first website. I hope you enjoy it. Thank you. Okay, so okay, so now let's go over making a header and a footer. So with a header, you're going to go ahead and so with a header, you can actually put anything inside, let's say, header. Header is usually used for mostly to, or also organizing, but it's also very helpful when you're making a style sheet. Now, the reason being is that you want to organize your website into sort of this format is in a style sheet you can change, let's say, decoration, the background, etc. And being with that website, you can actually it's actually more easier if let's say you wanted to if you're let's say running a business or if you're helping someone with their business. You can actually change the color to like Christmas colors, Halloween, or if let's say the person wants you to change the website to a different color or something like that. It just makes it more easier to use. Okay, so we can go ahead and let's see. All right, we can go ahead and add some stuff onto the header. Usually inside the header, I would add the navigation links, which we can actually do. um, all right, so trying to figure out what we can add as a link. So usually we can add, let's say, when we have more links over time, so we can do index.html. Now, this is better in like let's say a folder, but we're going to go ahead and do index.html and we'll just do home. Now the reason being that you want to add let's say a navigation link is if you're let's say on your navigation area or the let's say a website, you want some type of navigation so you can navigate through all your websites. All right, and usually and since we're already on index.html, you just click home and then you're already on the well the index page. All right. Oh, okay. There are people on the live chat. Okay. Sorry. I haven't been looking at it. What does explanation point doc type HTML mean? Okay, so actually, yeah, someone has actually answered that. Um, yeah, that is actually right. It's basically telling what version of it's basically just telling the website it's an HTML file, basically. Oh, thanks for answering that, actually. Yeah. All right. So okay, so since we already have the headers and navigation, we can actually add another one. So we can do a href. And then here at this point, we can go ahead and do, let's try a different website. Okay, so just saying, there are some things that I might get wrong. That's why I made uh, mostly HTML and CSS in the live stream. Um, there will be some mistakes over time, so just you know just stay under discretion. All right. So when you go on Google, you go on google.com. There you go. So you actually have two. So we actually have two navigation links. We can go ahead and go over. Let's see what else we can add. Let's go ahead and add a footer. All right. So usually in a footer, if you usually in a footer you would usually add like a copyright or more navigation links. Um, being this is being that I always add a copyright in every single app I make, you would notice in some of the videos on the app lab. We're gonna go ahead and do all copyrights reserved 2020 and KTech. Of course, you don't have to add this on your footer. You can add navigation links, or some people even put Instagram accounts or social media basically. So that is always an option. And then we can go ahead and go here. And there we go. Okay. So this website's looking a little bland. So we're going to go ahead and actually um, embed a style sheet in there. So we can go ahead and go actually make a new Notepad document. Now don't worry, I still have it. If you could always just click new, and then you could just go here, open with, and let's see, Notepad. Okay. Let me actually change the font size on this. And font and size 26 also. We'll go ahead and do that. Just note that changing the font size or changing the font size doesn't really change anything in your code, so you should be fine. Alright. So let's go ahead and do save as desktop, and then we'll go ahead and do styles. Now it's either style or styles, just make sure you remember it, but you're gonna do styles.css. Okay. So we can go ahead and make so in the header or inside it, just before the title, you're gonna go ahead and do a link, rel, and then you're gonna go ahead and put what is it? Style sheet. You're gonna go ahead and do type equals text slash CSS. Now actually, usually on the type equals text slash CSS, you don't really have to add it. Well, usually I don't really add it, and it still works fine, but this is the regular format you can just use. And then you're going to go ahead and do href equals styles. I think that's what I named it. And then there we go. Yeah, that is what I named it. All right. Okay, so now that we have that embedded, we're going to go ahead and make some changes in the styles. So usually I put CSS document. Usually if you have, what's that program called? Adobe Dreamweaver, usually it will automatically, or it usually will automatically create you the style sheet. Um, but usually using Notepad, you can just add that. But with CSS document, or what I did, um, if you notice the slash star and then the star slash, that actually means a comment. So I can basically add all copyrights reserved 2020 KTech and then star slash. It's basically a comment. And then I believe in the index, um, not sure if this is the right one. Set explanation point. Um, let's see. Um, Sorry, I'm just comparing this with my other code. Okay. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and do dash dash, so explanation point dash dash, and then you're gonna go ahead and do this. There's a comment or whatever you want to add, dash dash, and then closing it. That is your comment. It's very important that you add the explanation point, otherwise, you're basically gonna have like uh, what do you call it? You're basically not gonna have some errors with it. Okay, so now that we have that, we can go ahead and make some styles in it, or styles for the website. So usually I usually like to add do some kind of organization with the style sheet. So we can go ahead and do header format or header section. Actually, I'll change it to there. And then we can go ahead and see that in the header, we can go ahead and actually change the color of the navigation section. So we can go ahead and do header, and I'm not sure what that symbol is, but yeah, you can go ahead and do 3 spaces, and then we can do color is, we'll put black, and we'll go ahead and save that, and then right here, oh wait a minute, that's not right, header A. So usually, if let's say there sometimes HTML doesn't really work in your favor that much. Um, so usually you have to be a little more specific with your code. Um, yeah. Okay. So we can go ahead and do. Oh, I got a comment. What does CSS document mean? Well, basically it's just specifying what the what do you call it? Or it's basically specifying that it's a style sheet. Usually, really, you don't really need to have this. We can actually just delete it right there. But I usually like to add it because what people can basically do in websites is right click and then view the page source. And as soon as they click the styles.css, they can actually see what's in your website. So at least you can specify that this is a CSS document. This also helps it if you have other developers. Because really, you don't have to name it styles.css. You can name it like test.css. So it changes the website a little. Okay, so we have header A and then color black. Um, there you go. It went ahead and changed to black. You might not notice it at first, but we're actually going to make some more changes. So we're going to go ahead and do text decoration. Now text decoration is usually when you want to underline text. So I believe it's none. So text decoration none, and then there we go. It removes the underline. So let's see what else we can add. We can go ahead and add font size. Font size, and then we can go ahead and do, let's try 18 pixels. Now, some people actually have different ways on how they, let's say, do what do you call it? Uh, like let's say you can always, or when you let's say do pixels, right? Some people have different methods that they can use. So there's pixels, percentage. Um, I, I think that's no. There's more inches or something like that. I'm not sure. I prefer using pixels, but other people also have methods, also on how to use it. Okay, so we went ahead and did the font size, and it's 18 pixels. Now I still want to mess around with the website at or the navigation. So we're actually gonna go ahead and space it out a little. So let's see. We're gonna go ahead and use margin dash left. Now there is also padding dash left and so on and so on. The reason I don't really like using it is that actually I can actually show it as an example. So let's say we do 10 pixels. There we go. Now, reason being I don't like using padding dash left is because it makes it actually it's a little hard to describe. I think that might solve it. There you go. So with a padding dash left, it usually makes its own like rectangle, right? So you'll notice that if I accidentally click the space by accident, it will actually just go to Google instead. Um, and I meant to, let's say, click home. So in this case, we can actually just do margin dash left, which should not add that little space. There you go. So if I accidentally, let's say, click home, or want to click home, but I accidentally am in like the middle, then at least it won't do anything at first. Alright, so I actually want to add like a border to it. Now, if you notice in the code.org app lab, you'd notice that it's, let's say, you'll notice that I added a border. I think it was in my last video. Um, so yeah, you can actually add a border so people um, have 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 or actually just know, or well, no, mostly it's just for decoration. Because really you can just click the text, but it depends on you. So we can go ahead and do 1 pixel solid black. There are others. Trying to remember what the others were. But I know that one of them was solid. So we can just do solid black, and then there we go. Now that doesn't really look nice. We can actually add a little more to it. Padding equals 6 pixels. There we go. Okay, and then we can go ahead and do border dash radius. If you remember that in one of my other videos, we did use border radius. We're gonna go ahead and make it 3 pixels from there. And it's hard to see, but if you're working with me, you'll notice that there are corners in the website. Okay, so let's see what else we can do. Okay, so I'm actually trying to see what we can do with the space. So if you notice if you are doing this with me, you'll notice that since we use margin dash left, it actually also interfered with the with this area. So let's actually go over classes and IDs. So on the index, there's something called class and IDs that you can use. Um, so for example, I can do a ID equals and then parentheses first and then there. Now, usually you want to use the ID if you're only trying to fix, let's say, one text or one line of code for your style sheet. You can also use class. Now, class is a little different because you can actually use multiple. With ID, you can't. Um, if that sort of makes sense. All right, so we can go ahead and do ID first and styles. And then we can actually make, and we're going to make another one. So we'll do or header, or actually, what did I name it? First. Okay, so we'll actually do hashtag first, or pound first, or whatever you want to call it. Reason being is that we want to make it where you can actually, um, or it's basically in CSS. You can also do like first header or something like that. But we want to do pound first because it's only that one line of code that we're trying to change. So let's see, margin dash left equals 0. I'm not sure if that would actually it did change it. All right, so it actually just changes this line of code and it doesn't interfere with the rest of the code. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about in the style sheet reset styles. Now, usually when you're creating a website, you want to put reset styles. Um, reason being is that it changes the format of the whole website. Oh, not reason, or reset styles. Usually every CSS document should have this, but it's okay if you don't add it, but usually every CSS document has this. Now it changes it where it makes everything zeroed. It makes everything zeroed, and yeah, and I'm trying to think of yeah, it just basically makes everything zeroed out, and you have the ability to uh, let's say have more. It's hard to describe. But we can just go ahead and do reset styles, and we'll do HTML body header footer, and then we can go ahead and go here. Margin equals 0, and then padding is 0. And that's basically it. That's basically the reset style section. Okay. So you'll notice that actually changes the website a little bit. Um, let's see, what else can we add? Oh, Actually, there is one thing I forgot to add. Usually in a website, you want to add something called the container. So we can actually put it here. So we're gonna do does it span um sorry, I'm just viewing my other code. Now, usually I don't add this. Actually, I don't really like it at first. Every website does have this. So we can do it div ID container. Now, I don't like adding it because basically I can just do the uh, body line of code. Um, but a lot of people add it. Um, but let's see. Yeah, well, we'll just do that. So div ID equals container. Um, and then or actually, on the container, we can actually we can combine this, and then we'll do slash star, and then we'll just do container section. All right, and then we'll do hashtag container or pound container, whatever, and then you'll do margin. We'll just do margin dash left 5 pixels. Mm, Actually, that didn't do anything. All right, let's see. Oh, I didn't save this, did I? There you go. All right, so let's see. What else can we add? Let's go ahead and add a background color. So for a background color, you're gonna go ahead and go make another comment and do the body section. And then we're gonna go ahead and do body. There we go. And then we're gonna do background dash color. Now let's think of a good color. We'll do green. Uh, there we go. Okay. So I don't know if you guys remember, but there are gradient backgrounds. This was in another video that was before. Actually, I can check from here. Um, the improved way on how to make a clicking app on code.org app lab. Not sure if everyone viewed it. I do recommend you do view it, but er, but if you watch it, you'll notice that we use gradient backgrounds on a website called w3schools.com. And actually, I do recommend you guys do use w3school.com. Now, this isn't sponsored. They didn't email me or anything, but that is one of the websites I used to learn how to make a website. But yeah, okay. So I don't really think let's change it to something else. Of course, you can also use hexadecimal numbers. That is always an option. Um, Trying to think of a good background color. I think we'll just stick with gray. Or actually, let's go with aqua. Yeah, there we go. Alright, so let's see. What else can we do? Okay, we can actually mess around with um, the navigation. So with the navigation right here, um, let's see. Let's actually make it, let's actually add a div command. Now, if you noticed on the header, or I mean the container, you'll notice that it uses a div command. Um, it sort of makes it its own group for a certain section. Oh, that's the head. Here, for the header. Now, of course, we can, you know, use the header command, but usually div would work. Let's go ahead and do div id equals parentheses navigation. Actually, there is a nav line of code that you can add in HTML, but I don't really use it. But you can check it out. Alright, so we can go ahead and do div id equals navigation, and then here hashtag navigation, and then we can go ahead and do, let's see, background color, or not background color. We'll actually make the width a little, or not the width. We can actually do text align center. Let's try that. There we go. So we went ahead and put the navigation up there. So on the navigation, we can also do padding dash, or not padding, margin dash top, and then we'll do 10 pixels. There we go. That seems to be perfect. Now let's actually make a hover. Yeah. All right. So now, so usually every website also does this. A colon hover. Now the reason you want to add a, let's say, a hover is because, or really there's hover, visited, and link, which is just I'm guessing it's just regular, but usually with a hover, when you, let's say, hover over, let's say, home, you'll actually see like a background color change or something changing in the website. So we can go ahead and do we can go ahead and do background color changes to gray, for example, and then we'll refresh it, and you'll notice that it changes to gray right here. There you go. And if, let's say, you click Google, okay, no, it doesn't change it, which is okay. All right, cool. Okay, so we went ahead and did that. Let's actually make a colon visited. Okay, so we can go ahead and do let's see. We can go ahead and do background color black. So reason being that you want to add something like a colon visited is well, it's not doing it. Usually it does it, but when you, let's say, click something, it changes the color to purple. Why are you changing to black now? Huh. Oh. Oh, oops. Let's actually change it to blue. Okay. So every time that you visit a website, usually the text would either change to purple or something. Now, you can actually change it to where nothing changes, or nothing changes the text that you see so far. We can actually change it to let's see, we can actually change it to let's see, aqua, right, as the background color, or gray, since we don't want it to change at all. But we won't do that. Yeah. Oh, and let's see. Okay, so since we went ahead and did that, let's go ahead and add some more things to the website. Let's go ahead and trying to see what else we can add. Actually, I know we can add. We can actually make the navigation link go onto the right, and we're gonna make the H1 go up here. So let's do that. Okay, so we can go ahead and do on the index. Um, or not the index. With the with the header or with the navigation, we're actually not going to use this anymore. We can actually go do float. Okay, with float, really be careful with this because this changes the whole or the entire code's navigation. It will make it go here, but use it under discretion because I've seen it where if you do use float and you have a bunch of other code, you're going to have to fix the other code because somehow the float doesn't, or it either doesn't work or it's somehow interfering with text here. So use it, or just be careful with it. Alright, so we went ahead and did that. Actually looks good. Let's go ahead and mess with the footer now. The footer section. Okay, so we'll go ahead and do footer. And then we can go ahead and add some text. We'll do, let's see. We'll go ahead and put a background color, and then we'll put it as like red. We'll put the color as white. There we go. Now we can go ahead and let's put the footer actually into the bottom. I think that'll work. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead to styles, and then we can go ahead and do, let's do, try to remember how I did it. We'll do the, or in the footer, we'll just put it on position, or not position, I think it's bottom 0. Actually, shouldn't do it. Okay, so, I think it's position relative, I believe. Was it fixed? I think it was fixed. Well, it sorted it. Okay, so with this, you're gonna go, so with this, we're going to, um, it's actually just gonna be, it's just gonna be, all the way to the bottom. Now, I know there was a different way, I think, so for now, we can actually just put it, the footer right down there. Now, the reason being I don't like using fixed um, is because let's say you add more things to the website. When you scroll down, it actually makes this, or I believe it would, but no, that would be rel static. All right, well, um, but really, it would just go, really, it will just stay into the bottom, and I know it did interfere with text where let's say it's in the bottom, it actually covered it. I think so. Um, we're actually gonna change the footer though. As soon we have more text actually. All right. Actually, think I would end it off here. I know this is a live stream and we can make it as long as we can, but I did want to keep it up to an hour. And I think this is a perfect way to end it off. Let's actually fix the footer first, because I can see that the margin left is messing around with it. I think it was in the container. Margin left is 5 pixels. We can go ahead and do margin right is 5 pixels. Oh, that's because the width is in the way. Let's put it to 90% just to be safe. 95. Um, Styles? There you go. Can do 95. Okay, 99 then. Why is this not working right? 100% makes it go all the way. Actually, let's just make it where the margin dash left actually stays at 0. Okay, why am I having issues here? Let's see. Usually I have issues with footer P. Alright. I think that's actually a place to end it off. Alright, well, I think we'll end it off here. Well, does anyone have any other questions before I actually end the live stream? Yeah. Because, actually, I think we will continue on with I think I prefer if we continue to make videos through a live stream for HTML and CSS. Reason being is that there's a lot of errors that can happen with making websites, and if I were to make it into like a, let's say, a regular video, then that would take me probably a long time to edit. Um, but with the live stream, at least I can answer questions and such. I think the next live stream would be what do you call it? Um, I think it was a code.org app lab, I believe. Um, code.org JavaScript app lab design. That's going to be the next one. And actually, I have a pretty good project for that. We're actually going to do something that will help, let's say, or yeah, I actually have a good project for JavaScript design. We're actually going to mess around with what do you call it? The um, we're gonna be messing around with the data browser a lot because I want to make a project where it will where it's like a status of like, let's say, or like of an employee. Let's say you have children at home. Um, the mom or dad can use it and change like oh, I'm working or I'm not working, and then you can put like, let's say, a phone, or let's say a someone can just see and then they'll say like, oh, they're busy or not. It's a little hard to describe, but that is sort of my project that I would like to do for the next code.org app lab. Now, I'm not sure if you guys still want these live streams. I can just continue on with app labs videos, but first live stream in this channel. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So if no one has any other questions, I think we would end it off here actually. Actually, wait a little bit before we end it off because I know there's a delay in this. Okay, I guess there are no other questions. All right, well, thanks for watching this first live stream. I'm not sure if this will go onto the regular channel. I have um, I have to review the video. Um, I have to review this live stream first just to make sure. But so technically, this is sort of like an exclusive video. But anyways, thanks for watching, everyone, and be safe. Wash your hands, and yeah. All right. Thanks, everyone, and have a wonderful day.